Hello and welcome to the World Pool preview for Caulfield Guineas Day at Caulfield and Dewhurst Stakes Day in Newmarket. So we're going all over the world this weekend. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly, joined by James Lamb to preview Caulfield. Lammy, we're back again.
We are, yeah. It's a pretty strong card. 3 Group 1s, plenty of group races and some good betting races as well.
A lot of good horses going around as well. And of course, we are brought to you by the Hong Kong Jockey Club and the World Pool. Bet with the World Pool this weekend. So this weekend, as said, Caulfield races 5 through 10. We'll preview every single one of those races for you, try and find a couple of winners for you there. And then we'll take a look at 3 of the races at Newmarket. The World Pool is in action at Newmarket for races 1 through 5, but there's 3 races there that I want to have a bet in over the weekend. We have a massive month coming your way of World Pool racing. Next week is the Everest Caulfield Cup and, of course, Champions Day at Ascot, so we will have a preview for that as well. And upcoming, of course, Cox Plate Day and Melbourne Cup Week as well. There's plenty of racing going on with the World Pool, but Lammy, we need to rip into this Caulfield preview. Races 4 through 10. I said 5 through 10 earlier, but it's 4 through 10. Rail true, track good, weather good.
Yeah, every horse should get their chance, you'd imagine. It looks perfect conditions for racing. Race 4, I actually don't mind the look of a bit of a roughie in this one, Moving Out. So it's on the quick backup from last Saturday where she did very little, to be honest, over 1,400. However, mile record is excellent, and her best effort in Australia came when third up last prep over the Mornington Mile. Absolutely killed them that day, and it was off a last placing in Sydney. So she has history of turning her form around quite quickly. Ben Mellum rode her that day, and he jumps back aboard here. So just a little spec on Moving Out. I think the favourite, O2 Good, has the best probably overall form for this. Average last start, but just missed behind Lazura prior to that, which is excellent form for this. Lazura might get a mention a bit later on in the preview.
Well, she's, of course, in the Toorak later on, but we'll go across to race number 5. It is the Weekend Hustler over 1,400 metres. A few of these horses wouldn't have been out of their place in a Toorak, but, geez, King Zephyr stands out here, I thought.
He does, yeah. I'm keen to play exotics in this race, though. So mainly the Quinella, we should get a decent pull with the World Pool. Yep. But, yeah, King Zephyr, 6 from 9, deserves to be short here. Beaten first up at the Valley, but bounced back with a thumping win at Sandown at last start. That was arrogant. No reason why he can't show further improvement third up. I just thought Amenable was a bit of a danger, one for exotics. Form really tapered off last prep, but best performance came when first up, and all his best runs over his whole career have been when fresh. That's when we've seen the best of him, and I thought his recent jump outs were really encouraging. So Zara, barrier 3, he gets his chance to run well. So those 2 for me are the clear standouts, and Zoo Sensation if you're playing trifectas.
Yeah, of course, when the rails are hard and firm, he could get out and going. Good luck catching him.
Yep.
Race number 6, it's the Might and Power 2,000 metre weight for age Group 1. We've got the 4 horses to go around here. Buckaroo, He's a Shocker, Globe, and Treasure the Moment. So, intriguing race, and I reckon we can quickly go through it because I think the speed map is Globe leads Treasure the Moment, Buckaroo follows Treasure the Moment everywhere, and He's a Shocker's a couple of lengths behind behind there.
Yeah, single file, as we've seen with a couple of these middle distance races this spring. But yeah, I think because Treasure of the Moment will be in front of Buckaroo in the run, 3 kilos less than that galloper, it's not going to be run at Pride of Jenny tempo like the Fam was. So I think Treasure of the Moment could be hard to run past for Buckaroo, as good as his form is. I mean, the Sir Delius form is the best form reference in the land at the moment. But, yeah, I think Treasure of the Moment can bounce back here. Third up, 2,000. Slower tempo. I don't think Globe's going to break any records. I think he'll go along in a decent gallop, but, as I said, not Pride of Jenny. So, yeah, Treasure of the Moment, Buckaroo, and Globe's your trifecta horse.
So it's funny, one of the Treasure of the Moment's best performances was last prep over a mile where they went quicker than Pride of Jenny did the other day, so she can eat up that over a mile and further. So
maybe just a little bit underdone last time. Then you think off that
the setback. Yeah, and we saw last year Pride of Jenny beating up on the horses in the Fam. It proved to be the hottest form race of the spring. It could be something similar once again. So racing Pride of Jenny and racing fast is not a bad thing. Race number 7 is the Toorak Handicap over 1,600 metres. We'll take a look at the speed map here. We're bringing in speed maps to the World Pool preview. Of course, bet with the world with the Hong Kong Jockey Club this weekend. And they should go quick enough here, Lamb, because Transatlantic looks like he'll lead with Feroce there. And I reckon Athanatos from the inside gate will kick up as well. And Seppel's can be close, as we've seen in 2 runs this time in. Go to the replay here. It is the last 400 metres of the Sir Rupert Clarke, where Seppels just put himself on speed, and that's where he won the race. Angel Capital, if you backed it, go look away now. But you can see Feroce got back there. There's Damask Rose making up some ground late, pinstriped up the inside. But Seppels won the race in the first 2 strides.
Absolutely. And look, he was incredibly well weighted on this day. Not so much here, up in distance and up 5 kilos, which is an incredibly significant weight rise, I would say. But yeah, a couple of nice runs there. It was clearly Pinstripe's best run for a long time.
Yeah.
Not saying he can win this, but that was his best run for a long time. And yeah, Damask Rose was quite good as well. But Seppels, the weight rise scares me a little bit.
So who are you looking at in this race then?
I'm going away from that race. I'm going with Evaporate, who was 6 weeks between runs last time at Sandown, and Shin really set him a task. It was sort of not quite Antino levels, but did take off from a midfield position. He had to sustain a pretty strong gallop there, only just scraped home, but I think there was a stack of merit in that win, given the gap between runs. Much fitter for this, and his mile record is very, very good. 4 goes, 3 wins, and the miss was a 3rd in the Caulfield Guinea. So, yeah, I'm keen on Evaporate in what I think is a very open race.
Yeah.
The mares don't have a great record, but I think Lazura is the biggest danger. Not a super impressive win last time, but might have just been a little bit flattened by the heavy 10 win on resumption.
I was going to say, last start Evaporate, it was the 2nd quickest he's gone for the first half of his race. The last time he went that, well, he didn't get near it. He was nowhere near as quick as he went. It was in the Cox Plate last year when Pride of Jenny and set it up for Via Sistina. He
knocked up a touch that day.
Did not know what hit him that day. But yeah, so that's a good sign that he can still possess that early speed. But yeah, I don't mind Evaporate there. But we'll go across to what is the main event of the day here in Australia. It is the Caulfield Guineas over 1,600 metres. Speed map up on screen now. Of course, we've still got the emergencies in this race. We are recording this on a Thursday afternoon. But Observer looks like he'll probably try and roll across and lead. Romantic Encounter want to be there. West of Swindon will want to be there. Vinrock as well. I reckon he'll be a little bit closer than that map says. And I think Autumn Boy will want to hold a spot. So they could go pretty quick here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a messy map, isn't it? But yeah, if Vinrock jumps a lot better than he did last time at the Valley, I think he'll be right up there, because we saw him race up on the speed at Flemington, where he was able to control that race from outside the leader. So I think that'll be the tactic, provided he steps.
Yeah, so we'll get to the replay. It's the last couple 100 metres of the Stut Stakes. West of Swindon's in front. Romantic Encounter's there. Hilly is there. And Vinrock's getting over heels now. And Highvol is coming late as well. But he just knocks up a little bit late here, I thought, Vinrock as well. They went really quick in the start before on the Exford Plate. So I thought his run was a little bit flat now into the grand final. 4th up. He looks really set to peak. But West of Swindon had got back in the Exford Plate and then led. So he was really rock hard fit.
Yeah, and I was concerned about Vinrock's first up run, but then obviously it was a bit of a soft kill at Flemington.
They went quick.
Yeah. But this performance here, I mean, slow away. Barrier 14 on Saturday. If he's slow away on Saturday, he's got absolutely none. But a couple of gear changes for him. Earmuffs off, winkers on. So, yeah, maybe that'll help him jump.
We'll take a look at the Golden Rose at Rose Hill here with Baywalk winning the race, but you've got Wotan in the Coolmore colours, Rivellino behind him. You've got Autumn Boy and Nepotism out the back. Autumn Boy I thought was good, because look at all the horses on the fence here with Wotan and Baywalk. Autumn Boy was wide without cover, staying at 1,400 metres. I think the mile is what he needs. It's just, I don't know how he's going to sit closer given where he sat that day.
Yeah, I mean, the better gate helps, but that could also be problematic if he doesn't step that well and he's buried back on the fence, because he does strike me as a horse who needs a bit of clear running and to go through his gears. Obviously, things did not pan out well for him that day in the Golden Rose at all. But yeah, can he find 4 lengths on Woden, even though Woden had a much better run in transit there? But yeah, I found it a difficult race, probably the most difficult of the feature races, to be honest.
And they did run a track record there, of course. But which way are you leaning? Because I think you're going to get a good price about whatever you like. I think Woden will probably start favourite on the World Pool due to the JMac Chris Waller Coolmore factor. So if you sort of like anything else around it, I reckon you might get a price.
Yeah, I actually settled on Woden just because he is coming out of this run track record time. Obviously, we saw he was smashed by Bayvak, but I think that'll top him off nicely for 1,600 4th up. And
Wooten Bass at 1,600.
Yeah, a lot of his rivals are coming out of sort of slowly run sit and sprint races. So Not sure about their credentials at a mile. He should be hard fit, and he was the one I settled on. I thought a decent roughie might be Planet Red, just because he's always given the impression that he's going to enjoy a mile, but we just haven't seen him in a race that's run at a true tempo. He's been in slower races where it's been just a dash home, and we probably haven't seen the best of him, but I think if he gets a strong tempo and he can show his mile credentials, he might get into the money at double figure odds.
Yeah. We move on to race number 9, the Scalacci Stakes over 1,100 metres. Really interesting race. We see the return of Giga Kick here. He's sort of hasn't shown his best for basically 12 months since he ran second in the Everest last year. Neons has a good record at the track. And Devil Knight down the bottom comes out of a race last start. I know he was poor, but geez, the form out of it stood up well.
Yeah, it has. The stable's not exactly airborne at the moment, so I'm working around Devil Knight. And yeah, it's a very interesting race because Nadal and Giga Kick, if the best version of those two horses turned up, they'd be hard to beat. But Nadal's been scratched a heap of times this campaign, so that's a bit of a concern coming off bone chips removed. And Giga Kick, as you mentioned, best version of him would be hard to beat, but we haven't seen that for a very, very long time. So working around those, I'm going with Niance. Looks a good race for her to bounce back. The Moya Stakes didn't pan out for her there from barrier 10, was never really on the track and had to do it tough. But back to Caulfield, 3 from 3, much closer in the run from the inside gate. So she's the way I've gone. But yeah, another horse out of the Moya. I thought Golden Boom was probably the run of the race outside of the winner that day. Did it really tough, but was still bobbing at the 50. So barrier 3, Blake Shin on. I think worth a saver. Little 2-horse play.
How's the form out of Neonce's winning the How Now, beating She's Bulletproof and Miss Roombeanie worked out?
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain she sat wide that day as well. So, yeah, different horse at Caulfield. So, yeah, I'm quietly confident she can bounce back.
Race number 10 is the final event of the day at Caulfield. It is the Hong Kong Jockey Club at Northwood Plume Stakes over 1,200 metres. This one, of course, being for the 4-year-old and mares upwards. So, interesting race, but you sort of look to the top weights here, given the set weights and penalties style of this race. Yeah,
that's the way I've gone as well. Amina's coming back from a couple of hot races where she's had mixed luck. Look, she found the line okay in the Manikato last time without threat, but back in a Group 3 against her own sex, she's the way I'm going. But yeah, the wide gate presents a bit of a challenge for Zara. I'm not too sure where she's going to end up in the run, but she was the way I was leaning. And Fancify is probably a leader from barrier 8, 2-time winner when second up. Better signs first up than what we saw last campaign, didn't really come up. And one down the bottom, Vestas, probably more hype than substance at this stage, but that maiden win was outrageously good. And in an astute stable, so wary of the betting moves with that horse. But yeah, Amina for me, but not a confident play.
So with Amina, would you believe she ran the second best last 800 of the night that night at the Valley?
I would not.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, it was really well disguised because they've sprinted home really quickly in that event. She was just out the back not doing too much.
Yeah, she did save a bit of ground, I think, around the home turn and probably took the shortest way home. But yeah, it was a nice run without ever looking likely.
All right, well, that is races 4 through 10 at Caulfield previewed. If we had to put gun to your head, what is your best across those races?
Across those races, Niance.
All right, race number 9, Niance. All right, Lammy, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back after this to preview 3 races at Newmarket for Dewhurst Day. Welcome back to the World Pool preview. We've gone through races 4 through 10 at Caulfield. Hopefully we've found a few winners there. We've got a punting bank for Saturday night at Newmarket. It is Dewhurst night there. So we are recording this on Thursday afternoon here in Australia. So declarations for the UK meetings don't come out up until Thursday morning their time. So we're a few hours away, but thankfully we can get a good guide of to who's going to be running and who's not going to be running. Just checking through social media. And you can also see the jockey declaration. So the first event at Newmarket is the Too Darn Hot Darley Stakes. It is a 1 mile, 1 furlong event, so it is 1,800 metres. I'm happy to back Damasus here for John and Thaddy Gosden with James Doyle taking the ride. Well beaten in the Derby, 2 starts back, beaten 50 lengths when starting about 15 to 1 there in the market. But I thought it'd run quite well in the lead up at York there behind Pride of Arras. So I was quite keen on his chances in the Derby at an each way play, but did absolutely nothing as stated by getting beaten 50 lengths. But then turned up at Deauville 6 weeks ago and was quite good winning there over 2,000 metres. It was just genuinely what was a soft kill there. Going over there, getting the job done, winning by 2 lengths, winning with quite ease here. So coming to this, I think it's going to be a pretty stiff challenge here. here. We can see when this horse gets into his galloping action, he's quite a nice horse and he moves really well. So I'm happy to back him to get the job done in race number 1 to kick off the night at Newmarket. We're going to have a bet in 3 races on Saturday night. The next one is race number 2. It is a 2-year-old event. It is over 2,000 metres. So this is really interesting, seeing 2-year-olds get up over 2,000 metres at this time of year. And if endorsement turns up, and I'm assuming he's going to, because I did hear a piece of social media from Aidan O'Brien's assistant trainer after the horse's last start at Tipperary when he won in quite good style, winning over the 1,800 metres there. They said, yeah, we're going to have a look at the race at Newmarket. So I'm assuming he's going to turn up here. And he's by Wooten Bassett. So you think 2,000 metres at this stage of his career should suit, given the way that Aidan does train his horses. He's one of the favourites early on for the Derby as well, but just getting onto good, clean ground, into his clean galloping action. Hopefully he's decent enough odds, but just the way that he won last start at Tipperary, I was like, wherever you go next start, especially if it's over a bit more further ground, I'll be happy to back you. And he turns up over 1,800 metres here, which 2,000 metres, sorry, which I absolutely love, and I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat in that event. The main event of the day is race number 4 at Newmarket. It is the Dewhurst Stakes. It is over 7 furlongs, 1,400 metres. It is a Group 1. Really interesting race here because 3 horses take up most of the market here. And when we think with what the World Pool is going to do on Saturday night, Distant Storm for Charlie Appleby's a really nice colt, and Gustard's probably Aidan O'Brien's best colt as well. But I'm going to look outside those two. I like a look of Zavatieri, who's unbeaten so far, was a really strong winner last start at the Curragh, beating Gustard. I know Gustard started odds on there, was really short in the market, kind of disappointing. But the way Zavatieri won, I just want to be with this horse because I think he's an absolute line chaser, and I think we're going to get pretty decent odds on the weekend about this horse as well, because Gustard was really short price favourite last start. There's a bit of a boom on Distant Storm as well, given he looks to be one of Godolphin's best 2-year-olds as well. He started odds on in all of his races here, and he won his last start just kicking their heads in as well, winning by 4.5 lengths. So at the odds, I'm going to back Zavatieri and then maybe have a Quinella on the night with Gustard as well. As I think they're the 2 horses. I really want to follow that Vincent O'Brien form line out of the last start in Ireland. So that's the horse I want to go with. Down the bottom, Zavatieri. I think we'll get decent odds about him. That is 3 races previewed for Newmarket on a Saturday night. Of course, next week, as said, we have a massive weekend of racing. We have the Everest Royal Round with Kaying Rising running, so we'll pick that race apart, of course. The Caulfield Cup is the only race that we'll take in from Caulfield, but of course, we'll take a good look at that. Fantastic race over the 2,400 metres, and it is Champions Day at Ascot, so we will, of course, take a look at that. Can't wait to dig into that. We may have a guest from the UK on. Watch this space on that, but plenty coming up in the next few weeks. Of course, we've got the Cox Plate in a few weeks' time. We've also got Melbourne Cup week where there's a few races popping up as well. So a lot going on with the World Pool in the coming weeks and months. Of course, bet with the world with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. If you're having a bet this weekend, good luck. Make sure you do gamble responsibly, but we will catch you next week on the World Pool Preview.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.